Imagine it's Hanoi, the early 1900s. The French colonial government is on a mission to modernize the city. They build elegant European-style quarters, pave the streets, and install a brand new state-of-the-art sewer system. It's a symbol of progress, cleanliness, and order. But in solving one problem, they created a 5-star, all-inclusive resort for an unwelcome guest: rats. This new underground network was a paradise for rodents. It was a protected superhighway, safe from predators, with direct access to food scraps from the city above. The rat population exploded, and with rats came the terrifying threat of the plague. The government had to act fast. Their first plan was logical. In April 1902, they hired professional rat catchers. The job was straightforward: venture into the dark, damp sewers, kill rats, and report your daily totals for payment. At first, the numbers were impressive. Thousands of rats were being eliminated every day. Soon, it was tens of thousands. Official reports boasted of days with over 20,000 rats killed. But there was a problem. Despite these staggering numbers, the streets were still crawling with rats. The rat catchers were working hard, but the rats were simply breeding faster than they could be killed. On top of that, the catchers started protesting the low pay and the dangerous, unpleasant work. The city needed a new plan, something cheaper, faster, and more efficient. And that's when they came up with what seemed like a brilliant idea: a bounty program. Forget the professional catchers. Let the public handle it. The deal was simple. The government would pay 1 cent for every single rat tail turned in. Notice the key detail: just the tail, not the whole rat. This seemed smart. It cut down on the messy disposal of carcasses and made counting the bounties quick and easy. What could possibly go wrong? This is where our story takes a fascinating turn. The government wanted fewer living rats, but they weren't paying for fewer living rats. They were paying for rat tails. They had separated the reward from the actual goal. And people are smart. Within weeks, inspectors started noticing something strange: healthy, very much alive rats running around the city without their tails. The hunters had adapted. Why kill the goose that lays the golden egg? Or in this case, the rat that grows the valuable tail? People would catch a rat, snip off its tail to claim the bounty, and then release the animal back into the sewers. A tailless rat could still breed, producing a whole new generation of bounty-eligible offspring. It got worse. Reports started trickling in of people smuggling rats into Hanoi from the surrounding countryside. Some enterprising individuals even set up secret rat-breeding farms on the outskirts of town, creating a literal production line for tails. The system wasn't just failing, it was actively making the problem worse. The government had accidentally created a thriving market for the very thing they were trying to eliminate. The metric, the number of tails collected, was going through the roof. Piles and piles of tails arrived at collection points, but the actual outcome, a cleaner, safer city, was nowhere in sight. This story has a name. It's often called the Cobra effect, and it's a classic example of what happens when a measure becomes a target. The moment the government started focusing on the number of tails instead of the number of living rats, the program was doomed. The metric stopped being a useful measure of success and became the goal itself. By mid-1902, the bounty program was a complete disaster. The city couldn't verify where the tails were coming from or what effect the program was having. Realizing their epic mistake, the officials canceled the bounty. The sewers and the rats remained. So, what can we learn from this century-old policy failure? This isn't just a quirky historical anecdote. It's a powerful lesson that applies to business, tech, and even our own personal goals today. First, pay for the outcome you actually want, not an easily measured proxy. The French wanted fewer rats in homes and on the streets. That was the outcome. Tails were just a proxy, and a bad one at that. When you set a goal, ask yourself, what is the real objective? Is it more app downloads, or is it more active, engaged users who love your product? Is it closing 100 support tickets, or is it 100 happy customers? Second, choose metrics that are hard to game, and even then, pair them with real-world checks. The bounty system was incredibly easy to manipulate. If they had required the whole rat carcass and maybe done random spot checks to confirm where the rats were caught, it would have been much harder to cheat. It would have been more expensive and slower, yes, but it might have actually worked. This is the trade-off. Cheap and easy to measure often means cheap and easy to game. Third, and this is crucial, always expect adaptation. When you attach a reward to a number, people will find the cleverest, most efficient way to make that number go up. Before you launch any new incentive, get your team in a room and ask, how would our worst enemy exploit this? If the answer is something like, they'd start farming the problem we're trying to solve, you need to go back to the drawing board. The Hanoi rat problem teaches us to be skeptical of impressive-looking data when the incentives are misaligned. Those massive tallies of rat tails didn't indicate a cleaner city. They were just artifacts of a broken payment system. The officials in Hanoi did eventually learn their lesson. After scrapping the bounty, they shifted to broader, more complex measures like improving citywide sanitation, implementing quarantines, and investing in medical responses. None of these things produced a simple, satisfying daily number, but they were all much closer to the actual goal of protecting public health. So the next time you're setting a goal or a KPI for your team, your company, or even just for yourself, think about the great rat hunt of Hanoi. Ask yourself this simple question. Am I counting tails? Am I focused on a proxy metric that feels good to track? Or am I measuring what truly matters? If you find yourself counting tails, it's time to change course. Thanks so much for watching. It's these fascinating stories from history that can teach us so much about the present. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next one.